Arsenal lose 2-1 against Liverpool, and that is the end of the USA tour. They've ended it with a draw and a penalty shootout win against Bournemouth, a win against Man United, penalty shootout defeat there, weird occasion, and a defeat to Liverpool here at the amazing Lincoln Financial Field here in Philadelphia. Philadelphia's been amazing, and this ground, the USA knows how to be hospitable and fun and really put on an experience for sports fans. No question about that. Felt that all 3 years we've been on tour. But on the game, Arsenal have lost, and there are some disappointments in that performance. But there'll be plenty to learn about, or learn from, shall I say. And there were some positives in there too. So in this match report, we're going to cover all that. And as always, we start with the starting 11. Now, no Calafiori, no Timber. Calafiori, according to Mikel Arteta in the press conference, a bit jet lagged, a bit sort of, what's the word? He's not really trained with the team. He's just a little bit behind. Didn't feel it was fair to sort of get him on the pitch in this game during Timber being rested after, obviously starting the last 2 games against Bournemouth and Man United. Now, when you look at the back 4, then Hein obviously played every minute of every game this pre-season. So Kivior started centre-back with Gabriel, White and Zinchenko, the full-backs. Havertz in midfield with Partey and Erdogan. Not everyone loving that Havertz starting midfield, but they had quite a good game. In the front 3, Nelson, Jesus and Martinelli. Now, the game was interesting because about the first 5 minutes, we were all over Liverpool. Suffocating. They couldn't get out. Loads of mistakes from Kelleher. We were really physically dominant. They didn't have the most amazing 11 out there. Yes, Salah played. Yes, Elliott played. Yes, Diogo Jota played. But actually, I felt we had more quality across the whole 11. And I felt Arsenal would assert that. And for 5 minutes, it looked like they were going to. I'll be really honest with you. 5 minutes in, I went, this could be like 3 or 4. Like, we're looking that good. But Liverpool really found their feet quite well. And Arsenal seemed to lose confidence after not like taking advantage of those first 10 minutes. It was quite weird. We've seen this pattern before. Villa home game where we lost 2-0. But we were like high pressing, winning the ball back, creating chances, couldn't put them away. We then had that Brighton game, we lost 3-0 a couple of seasons ago in another title run-in. Again, loads of chances in the first half, all of them couldn't put them away. Felt a little bit like that game, and then suddenly we were 2-0 down. Arteta, might want to address that efficiency in the penalty area. These chances we create and these moments of dominance, we need to be a little bit more clinical. Having said that, I don't think Arsenal were entirely dominant. I don't think this is a case of Liverpool were holding on for dear life and, Arsenal just didn't take their chances. Liverpool were really good in transition and fashioned some really good chances themselves. After those first 5 minutes, we felt like we could have got a goal or so. There were moments like Jesus when he was coming onto that low cross from Reece Nelson. He looked like he could just put it in the back of the net, but I think it's a Bosley makes a really good tackle to clear it. Martinelli, when he's through, really should square it a little bit earlier to Jesus, but it's a great interception from Quansah. That denies us a goal. But by that point, we were already behind. Great goal from Mo Salah, where Liverpool played some really good football. They were moving it around. We couldn't quite nick the ball back. Then it goes long, headed down into Elliott, who then plays it in behind to Mo Salah, or at least I think it was Elliott. And Mo Salah cut us with the space in behind and found the far corner. Look, people get mad about Zinchenko and stuff. I don't know what we want to do anymore here, people. Zinchenko's a midfielder playing a left back. So, he's going to struggle against perhaps the best right winger in world football. And may I say that I actually think there are errors in the build-up with the press and then not winning the ball back, when there's a chance to win it with a header and all that. So, look, I'm not too mad at Zinni for it. I think you just get done by Salah's blistering pace and a great pass in behind. But I don't think Arsenal looked that great defensively throughout, I will say that. And yeah, it was a little uncomfortable at times. Kivior, he's a left footer playing a right centre back. He was having to come wide a bit. To be fair, he did well in that situation. In those situations, shall I say. Then the next goal, it looks like we've got enough men around it and we've sort of snuffed out the danger. And then Elliott plays a genius chip ball into Fabio Carvalho. And again, it's a really, really brilliant goal. I think with Saliba and Gabriel together at the back, maybe Raya, maybe the tracking of a run, because Zinchenko did find himself more centrally, so would it in future be a Calafiori or a Timber? Maybe we don't get done like that. So I don't know. It was interesting that Arsenal had a man-to-man press. Zinchenko was pressing in this game from central areas, especially in the first half, very much like we did against Liverpool when we beat them at the Emirates 3-1. So yeah, is that just a tactic we're going to deploy a lot when we have Zinchenko at left back and we press? Are we going to tuck him inside a little bit and give Gabriel and Salah the one-on-one battle a little bit more? We do get a goal back. I mean, like I said, there were chances, there were moments, but ultimately Corner comes in, comes out. Zinchenko with some good work out to Martinelli. Ball into the box. Ødegaard, just shows, it's quite clever. Right? The thing is going to go on his left, but he drags it onto his right. And Havertz, right place, right time to put it in the back of the net. Thought Havertz had a good game. I thought he was, good on the ball, played some nice passes. But I thought it was his effort, his, putting himself about. He was really dominant. There was one moment where it looked like they were in on goal, or at least, had a bit of an overload. And Havertz got back to win possession really well. He was doing that a lot in midfield. I think as a bit of a battering ram forward who's still got enough quality on the ball, Havertz, you can see why he's a striker. He just does really well in midfield to put himself about. I mean, in the same way probably a lot of typical target man strikers, if you ask them to do a job in midfield, listen, they're used to throwing their weight around. I don't think Havertz is a typical target man, but he is someone who's kind of got a good physical presence and uses it quite well, and certainly has done since he's been at Arsenal. So disappointed we didn't really see him up front in this game, but yeah, he did what he could in midfield and was probably one of the better players. In terms of the rest of the 11, I thought Jesus struggled, I have to be honest. A lot of his twists, a lot of his turns, a lot of the things that we love him for didn't really come off. Now, a player like that with loads of flair, got to keep trying it. But then there were also moments where I was like, yeah, that wasn't on. You turned into traffic and there was a pass. Now, it's easy for me to say it when I see the whole pitch. But I do think Jesus wasn't as good as he was against Man United, if I'm really, really honest, nor his appearance against Bournemouth. Partey, you can see with some of the line-breaking passes, what you can add to this team. And you also see where it looks like the injuries might be catching up to him. He doesn't look quite as sharp and as quick and whatever. But I think with game time, that will come back. So let's see. Of course, we've got Jorginho and Rice in those positions too. Marte did fine. Nelson did fine. I mean, second half, it felt like a training session game. A lot of going through the motions, a lot of getting the ball, working it round side to side, creating some good angles, creating some good moments, but we're lacking a little bit of final third quality. And we opted for more passes and creators out wide in Trossard and Vieira for the second half, as opposed to Nelson and Martinelli, who weirdly I think would have done better. I think the wingers would have done better the other way around. Obviously, Arteta's not to know that. That's just the game state, right? But I felt that actually, when we were trying to sort of get in behind and actually stretch them and keep them on their toes, Marte and Nelson might have done more in the second half when they were camped there. First half, maybe the way we were pressing Vieira and Trossard, listen, I don't know, it's hard to know. You could argue actually first half when it was more end-to-end open, that's how we got the chance with Martinelli in behind. So I don't know. But I will say I thought Trossard, really good cameo, really, really good cameo. I thought he played really, really well, as did Miles Lewis-Skelly when he came on. I think my title on my last video was sort of really praising the youngsters. Probably go for a different title than this one. But I want to say that I really do think they've been the story of the tour. I said in my preview on AFTV that, and I want to be careful I say this because you're all going to think, oh, you bloody privileged idiot, what are you talking about? Of course I was supremely excited about this tour, right? Los Angeles, Philadelphia. But the previous tours had that added spice to them. You can see Jesus for the first time, Saliba back in the team, Zinchenko, that was 2 years ago. Last year, Rice, Timber, Havertz, what's he about? What's he going to do in this team? And so it added something in terms of, wow, we're going to learn a lot. And I went on to this tour thinking, I can't wait to see Arsenal, I can't wait to be here in the States. But I wasn't really sure what that one thing to be super excited about was from the team's perspective, other than the game, seeing how well we're looking, how good we're looking, and how scratch we are. And the youngsters, I want to give them real credit. They've made this tour a real privilege. They've given us so much to look forward to. And I think Nwaneri, very much the star of the Bournemouth game. Nwaneri and Salah-Eddin, lots to talk about with both of them in that Man United game. I thought Lewis Skelly's appearance in this game was really, really good. Some of the line-breaking passes, the confidence on the ball. Got some really top youngsters coming through. Well done to Heaven as well. He got a couple of minutes. He looks really confident. He's a 6 playing at centre-back. He did well in his few minutes. Hein is still a young goalkeeper. Yes, experienced international, but I thought he did well generally throughout this tour. And I think we learned a lot about this Arsenal team. We're missing our core. Raya, Saliba, Rice, Havertz up front, Saka on the right, our best player. We're missing a lot. Yeah, we didn't miss as many players as Liverpool did and Man United did for these tours, I understand that. But we were missing really key ones. Calafiori to be added. We know what's being said about Mikel Merino. And maybe a forward, maybe a striker. I can't help but feel that that Eddie chance that he just sort of snatched at and went wide, the Kivior header over the bar, you know, just some of the moments where the ball went into the box. What if your Keres is attacking that? What if it's Nico Williams who's pinned down the fullback instead of Fabio Vieira? What if it's Osimhen in the box? And even, I'm not even saying they necessarily get those chances and bury them, but what do they do in terms of a fear factor for the other team because of who they are and what they can do as well? As far as looking at these missing pieces, the players come back, Calafiori, Marina and maybe another. Listen, I think we can have a really good season. Because there's one takeaway from this tour for me, is that the players look sharp. They don't look their most fluid best. They don't look like they've quite formed the connections and the understandings, and that's okay. And they look like they're missing some quality at times. But they're looking sharp in terms of fitness, in terms of intensity, and professionalism. Like, you look at them and they're taking this very seriously, Arteta too, on the touchline. I'm going to do a live show talking about this tour in general, what it was like, behind the scenes access, what the routines are like for the players, what we saw from open training, what it was like meeting them. Met lots of players out there. It was really cool, all very welcoming, lovely people. So I'll just do a live show if you're interested in that, talking about the tour. You can get your questions in and we can just discuss what it was all like. But yeah, I've been here with AFTV. They're over there still filming the fan cams, and the fans are amazing, and it's always such a pleasure coming out to the US. So thank you, Philadelphia, thank you, Los Angeles, thank you, Arsenal. It's always a pleasure following this club. Not the result we wanted to end the tour, but lots to learn. 2 more games of pre-season, and I think a big season to come. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who's your man of the match? I think Trossard or Havertz probably gets it for me. And let me know your thoughts on the tour in general. Subscribe if you like the channel, and we'll see you soon.